Hi, this is Matt with AppliancePartsPros.com. Today we'll be showing you how to repair your appliance. Remember, anytime you work on an appliance, make sure it's unplugged or the circuit breakers are off so there's no chance of electrocution. In this video, we're going to show you how to change out the Whirlpool dryer broken belt switch. It's going to be a very easy repair, and so I take a few minutes to show you how to do it. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can click on the link below or get it at AppliancePartsPros.com. When you open up the package, you're going to get the new broken belt switch. The broken belt switch is a safety device that tells the dryer when the belt is broken, the minute you should be changing it out, so if it's failed and the dryer's not running. In order to change the part, we have to go around to the back of the dryer. Now we can use a 1/4-inch nut driver to take out the screws that hold the top on. Once you have the screws out, you can pull back on the top about 1 inch or so and lift it off and set it aside. Now that we have the top off, we have to remove this support piece that holds the control board. We're going to unplug the wiring harness for the control panel. There's a tab that you have to press to release it. You can use a small flathead screwdriver if you need to and pull the wiring harness out. Just set it aside. Then we're going to use a 1/4-inch nut driver to remove the screws that hold the support panel on. Once you have the screws out, we're just going to lift the support panel out and carefully set it off to the side so it doesn't damage anything. Now we have to take the control panel off. There's some locking tabs across the top that we have to release. We also have to reach in and press the release tab on the back so it comes off. And there's one on this end too. Once you have it released, just pull the wiring harness off and set it aside. Now we're going to use the 1/4-inch nut driver to take out the 4 screws that hold the control panel frame on. As you're taking the last screw out, you want to hold on to the control panel frame so it doesn't fall. Once you have the screw out, you can lift it off and set it aside. Now we're down at the bottom of the dryer. We're going to take the access panel off. We're going to use the 1/4-inch nut driver to take out the screws. Once you have the screws out, you can pull down on the panel, lift it off, set it aside. Once you have the access panel off, we're going to disconnect the wiring harness for the door switch. First, we're going to release this little clip right here. All you have to do is open it up with a small flathead screwdriver. It's just pressed together. You can take the wiring harness out. Then we're going to disconnect the door switch from the wiring harness. There's a little locking tab right here, so you can use the small flathead screwdriver to kind of lift up on the connector and separate it. Now we have to open up the dryer door. We're going to use the Phillips screwdriver to take out the 2 screws that hold the front panel onto the lid screen housing. Once you have those screws out, you can close the door. Now we're going to use a 1/4-inch nut driver to take out the screws that hold the front panel on. When you're taking the upper screws off, you want to make sure you hold the panel in place so it doesn't fall. Once you have the screws out, you can lift the front panel off and set it aside. Now that we have the front panel out of the way, we have to take the bulkhead off. So first we're going to disconnect the wire harness for the moisture sensor. Same as the door switch, there's a little locking tab right here. Just use a flathead screwdriver to lift up on it. Once you have it unplugged, you can use the 1/4-inch nut driver to take out all the screws that holds the bulkhead on. On the upper bulkhead screws, we're just going to loosen them up enough so we can lift the bulkhead off. I'm not going to take them all the way out. Once you have both screws loose, we can lift the bulkhead off. Once you have it off, you can set it aside. Now we can take the belt off. We're just gonna reach underneath the drum and grab the idler pulley, and we're just gonna pull it towards the left side of the dryer. Once you have the tension off of it, you can take the belt off the pulleys. Now we can take the drum out. We're just gonna lift up on the belt and guide the drum out. Once you have it out, you can set it aside. Now that we have the drum out, we have access to the motor area. First thing we're going to do is remove the wire harness from the motor switch. You can use a small flathead screwdriver to lift up on the locking tabs. There's one on the top and the bottom. Once you have them released, you can set the harness out of the way. And then we have to remove the two blue wires that come from the broken belt switch to the motor. The one that goes up here, you just have to unplug. The one that goes to the motor switch, you can use a small flathead screwdriver to help pull it off. Now we can take off the idler pulley. We're just going to use a 3/8" socket with a ratchet to take out the shoulder bolt. Once you have the shoulder bolt out, you can just let the idler pulley lay. We're not going to take it out. Now we can take the broken belt switch off the mounting bracket. There's a locking tab on each side that we have to press on while lifting up on the switch. Once you have them both released, you can lift the broken belt switch out and pull it off the dryer. Here's the old broken belt switch next to the new one. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can get it at appliancepartspros.com. To put the new broken belt switch in, we're just going to put it into the motor mount and line it up. Once you have it in place, you can push down on it to lock it in. Once you have it in place, we can put the idler pulley back on. Just going to make sure the spring is still hooked up in case it fell off. Then we can grab the shoulder bolt and get it started. Once you have it started, we can grab the ratchet with the 3/8" socket and tighten it down. You want to make sure that the idler pulley is on the shoulder part of the bolt so it moves freely. And you can tighten it down. Once you have the idler pulley tightened down, we can connect the wires. To connect the wires, we're going to grab the non-insulated one, the metal one, and attach it to the motor switch. Then we can grab the insulated wire and attach it on the outside where the old one was. Once you have those on, we can put the wire harness on for the motor. All you have to do is line it up, push it on. Once you have that on, we can put the drum back in. To put the drum in, we're just going to line it up and push it back into the dryer. Once you have it in, you can set the rear on the rollers. And then when you set the belt down, you want to make sure the grooves are against the drum. To put the belt back on the pulleys, we're just going to reach underneath and pull the idler pulley towards the left side of the dryer. And then we can hook the belt around the pulleys. Now we can put the bulkhead on. We're just going to line it up on the blower housing. We're going to lift up on the drum so the rollers go underneath the drum. And we can lift up on the bulkhead, set it onto the screws. Once you have it in place, we can use the 1/4" nut driver to put the screws in. Once you have the bulkhead mounted, we can reconnect the wiring harness for the moisture sensor. All you have to do is plug it in. Then we can put the front panel on. To put the front panel on, all you have to do is line it up and you're gonna have to hold it while we put the top screws in. Use the 1/4-inch nut driver to put in all the screws. Now we can hook up the wiring harness for the door switch. All you have to do is grab both ends, and just like the moisture sensor, it can only go on one way. So plug it together. Then we can hook the wiring harness into the retainer clip. We're just going to get the wires into the clip, and then you can snap it together. Now that we have the front panel mounted, we're going to open up the door. Use the Phillips screwdriver to put in the screws that hold the front panel to the lint screen housing. Once you have the screws in, we can close the door. Now we can put the access panel on. All you have to do is lift up into place. And use the 1/4-inch nut driver to put in the screws. Now we can put the brace on. All you have to do is set it into place, and then we can use a 1/4-inch nut driver to put in the screws. Now we can lift the control board back into place. Just going to carefully lift it up and set it into place. Once you have it in place, we can use the 1/4-inch nut driver to put in the screws. Next, we can put the control panel on. We're just going to feed the wiring harness through the opening in the brace, and then line the control panel up and snap it on. Once you have the control panel snapped on, we can grab the wiring harness and plug it onto the control board. All you have to do is line it up, make sure it goes on and locks into place. Once you have it on, we can put the top back on. All you have to do is set the top in place, set it down so it's about 1 inch back from the control panel. You can slide it forward. Once you have it in place, we can use the 1/4-inch nut driver to put in the screws. Now that you have the driver put back together, you can plug it in and take it for a spin. Thanks for joining us for another successful repair brought to you by AppliancePartsPros.com. Check out our other repair videos on our site, Facebook, and YouTube.